Hey YouTube, Kirimoff6 here, coming to you guys with a deck profile kind of update for my Fortune Lady deck with the March 2010 ban list. It gets modified that way now, sadly. So yeah, just a little peek as to what's in the deck, even though it should be all like common sense. So yeah. Alright, so without further ado, let's start. Okay, let's start off with the monsters first. I run 3 light, just like pretty much everyone else that runs Fortune Ladies. Basically, when this card is removed from the field by a card effect, you can special summon one Fortune Lady from your deck. Any Fortune Lady you want. So yeah. Alright, and of course it starts off as 200 attack, as it gets 200 attack per level. And max level is 12, so yeah. Next up, 3 dark. The main beat stick for Fortune Ladies comes out as a 2000 beater. You're gonna rarely have to tribute summon this thing. It's always gonna be special summon for the most part. And when it destroys a monster by battle, you can special summon a Fortune Lady from your graveyard onto the field. I usually get this out once I get light removed from play through Future Visions or something. Next, I run 2 water. This is part of the draw engine for the deck. If it's special summoned by a Fortune Lady, if it's special summoned while there's another Fortune Lady on the field besides water, you get to draw 2 cards. So it's a nice draw. It's a nice addition to draw power in this deck. 2 fire. Basically, you get to special summon this through light's effect or whatnot. But it has to be special summoned in face-up attack position for its effect to be activated. So when it gets special summoned onto the field in face-up attack position, you can select one of your opponent's monsters and destroy it, and inflict damage equal to the attack. I think, yeah, the destroyed monster's attack. So if the attack was modified or something, then that's the damage that your opponent takes, not the original. Next, 3 Cyber Valley. Basically, it's just pretty much a stall card, and it's very, very good in this deck. You should want to play it before you activate Future Visions or through special summoning effects, kinda. So yeah. First effect, as you guys should know by now, is if it's selected as an attack target, negate the attack and the battle phase, draw a card. Second effect is remove this card and one other card on your side of the field from play. It has to be face-up monster, actually. So you can draw 2 cards, and the third effect is removing this card and 1 card in your hand from play to put 1 card from your grave back on top of your deck. I like to get this guy out with 1 for 1. So yeah. Alright, next, 2 Kaiku. Basically, you really want to control your opponent's graveyard now that, Machina or Machina, however you pronounce it. Like, that deck relies on the graveyard a lot because of Fortress, so you really just want to summon Kaiku, get some damage in, and just remove those Machina monsters from the grave, because you do not want them coming back to swarm you and stuff. And that goes for pretty much any other deck that swarms, so yeah. Next up, 2 Apprentice Magician. It's just basic spellcaster support. When it gets destroyed by battle, special summon 1 level 2 or lower spellcaster, either another Apprentice Magician or light, or maybe even fire, but I doubt you'd want to summon fire. Marshmallow, just a light target, and it's a good stall card. Tragodia, this card got limited to 1, so I could only have 1 in this deck. And with the immense draw power in this deck, you wouldn't believe how much attack that thing could gain. And I run it over Gores because, you could take any amount of battle damage and it doesn't even matter. I mean, for Gores you could do that too, but, you get a really weak token if you summoned it with, when you took really little damage. Chaos Sorcerer. Basically, this deck runs a decent amount of light and dark, so this card's pretty much stable. And it also removes 1 face-up monster from play per turn, but it can attack. And finally, DD Warrior Lady. I don't know, I might take this out, but it is a light target, and it's pretty good effect-wise, so yeah. I mean, it kind of ruins the spellcaster theme, but whatever. Alright, next up is spells. First off, we got the Fortune Lady's Field spell, Future Visions. basically whenever a card is normal summon, it gets removed from play and it comes back during the standby phase of the player's turn. So yeah, that's pretty much it really. That's the effect. Next up, 3 Fortune's Future. In my previous build I only ran 2 because we had Allure at 2, but now that Allure is back at 1, you gotta compensate for it with the 3rd Fortune's Future, and it actually turns out, and like, it runs pretty decently because you remove from play a lot of stuff with Cyber Valley, Chaos Sorcerer, and Future Visions, so yeah. And of course this is the Draw Power card. Next up, 1 for 1, discard a monster card to special summon 1 level 1 monster, Cyber Valley or Fortune Lady Light. Vortex, monster removal. Allure, basically draw 2, remove from play a dark, preferably Fortune Lady Dark, then you can bring it back with Fortune's Future. So basically you draw a total of like 4 cards. Pot of Avarice, recycle your monsters, because this deck draws a lot, so you may deck out. So Pot of Avarice comes in handy. Magical Dimension, just spellcaster support. Tribute 1 face up spellcaster to special summon another spellcaster from your hand, and you can destroy a monster on the field. But timing is a really big problem with this deck though, because if you choose to destroy a monster using Magical Dimension's effect, then fortunately Light loses the timing. So yeah. Trunade, spell chart removal. Heavy, MST, spell chart removal. And finally onto traps. Run 3 Compulse. Oops. Alright, 3 Compulse. I run these over Deep Prisons because, well, fortunately Light, this gets benefited so much. Like, if you have Future Visions on the field and you have Fortunately Light face down, you compulse that face down Fortunately Light, but you just have to show it to your opponent, like, oh, this is Fortunately Light. And Fortunately Light's effect gets there, and then you could always use it a second time because you have Future Visions on the field. So that's pretty good. And of course, Compulse is always used offensively and or defensively. Playset of T-Roar. Basically stall card, nothing else. Personal Tech, Scrubbed Raid. You can remove 1 card you control. Like you can remove 1 card you control from the field, put it into the grave. So basically this card works extremely well, Fortunately Light, because not only do you get to end the battle phase, but you also get to get a Fortune Lady from your deck. So, you know, that's pretty good. Personal Tech, so yeah. Call of the Haunted. Staple pretty much. Brings back any monster you want that can be special summoned. And last 2 traps are staples, Torrential and Mirror Force. So overall the deck runs pretty nicely if you get the right hand. If you get a crappy hand, you're screwed. If you get a decent hand, you're set, I suppose. So yeah. So that's the deck. Feel free to leave comments below. Constructive criticism is welcome. Just please don't say this deck sucks, Yu-Gi-Oh sucks, because I'm quite sure you'd be just wasting a few seconds that you took to type that. So I'm quite sure you could probably invest those few seconds into something, I don't know, more productive. So yeah, alright. That's all for now, I believe. I might have a few more deck profiles coming up, not sure. But for now, that's it. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Constructive criticism in the comments, please. And yeah, that's all for now. KirioModFit6 out. Later, YouTube. Peace.